You talked about us looking for people who are more highly educated, but what does ethnicity and religion, maybe even age, have to do with our immigration policy in this country? Who do we discriminate against?
In theory, since 1965, the United States does not discriminate on the basis of race. It passed new immigration laws in 1965 to eliminate what were called the national origin quotas or
but we have quotas, don't we?
We have different kinds of quotas. We have a fixed number for family unification. We have a fixed number for refugees since the Refugee Act of 1980, right? There's 50,000 visas for refugees each year. We have a fixed number for labor migrants. And it's really about those quotas, if you want to call them that current policy debates focus. There's different opportunities to migrate for people from different countries. I mean, there's 30,000 visas basically for every country around the world. And some countries use up those visas immediately. And then
every country, I'm learning this.
Yeah.
Every country has the same number.
This was the alternative to sifting on the basis of race. Well, we're going to make all countries equal. Well, some countries are big and some are little. Some have a strong desire, a population with strong desire to migrate, and others could care less. And then certain numbers for 10,000 for low, sort of blue-collar workers, and then another set aside for people who can invest money or who are highly educated. It's an incredibly complex system. Plus, in addition to that, certain members of families can enter above and beyond those numerical limits. And it's there, of course, that many women take advantage of that unification visa option. And it's tremendously important to remember that none of this really existed before 1880 or 1920.
That's right.
Most of the migrants of the 19th century carried no identity paper. They carried no passport. They required no visa. That is introduced beginning in the 1870s and 1880s.
You have to remember, after the Civil War, the states actually went overseas and they were recruiting immigrants. They would say, Michigan, come to Michigan. We'll give you free land, and you don't have to pay taxes. Or Texas would do that. And so they were going to Germany and Britain or the Scandinavian countries. So, because the country needed people, to build the railroads, to build our country. It wasn't, and then we had this huge influx of immigrants between 1880 and 1920. And then it was around 1921 that we started the quota system. In 1924, I believe it was the Hate-Seller Act. 1924, we had the Hate-Seller Act, where you really had the quota system that dominated immigration policy till 1965, I believe. And that's when we started having the family reunification acts.
And what kind of immigrants does a country want to welcome? Does it want to privilege families? Does it want to privilege asylum for refugees who are seeking help? Or does it want to privilege workers, high-end workers, low-end workers? And how do you accomplish that when you set a numerical limit?